Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I'm going to be revisiting a project that I recently did. Do you guys remember those doors that I majorly messed up? Well, we are bringing those back to life, giving them a makeover and giving this piece a fresh look. And then I'm gonna let you choose which one you like better. So if you wanna see this update of a makeover, just keep watching. Today's video is sponsored by Cricut, and I'm going to be using the Cricut Joy to create some custom artwork later in this video. Back in February, I updated this piece by removing the trim and adding new feet, and it originally had some doors on it that I totally ruined with too much Bondo. My sanders wouldn't fit in there, and after 2 days of hand sanding, I finally gave up on them and just finished the piece as a open concept media console, and it turned out really beautiful, but I am finally brave enough to pick those doors back up and make something out of them. So my plan is to cut out the center completely and then cane them. So I'm starting by using my miter saw and making some slits in each side so that I can get my jigsaw in there and cut the remainder of this board out. If you don't have a miter saw, you could just use a drill and drill 2 little holes in there, but I figured this was going to give me a head start with a really straight line and make them easier to jig out the center. So after I scored each side of the door, I just got my jigsaw out and followed the lines the rest of the way around to pull the center completely out. This was my very first time using the jigsaw. I actually just bought it for these doors specifically, and it was really easy. I just followed the line of the door, and it was really easy to keep a straight line, and I was really impressed because sometimes I'm scared of power tools, but this one was really easy to work with. I repeated this process on all 3 of the doors, and then I grabbed my sander to make sure everything was smooth and even on the inside of the frame. And now I'm going to finish these off with the same process that I used in that other video. If you guys haven't watched it, go watch it, but I'm just using a watered down wood filler here to fill in the strong grain of these doors, sanding that back, and then I'm going to fill my Wagner Flexio 3000 with the detailed nozzle that gives a really smooth finish with my In the Navy chalk paint by Dixie Belle Paint Company, and I'm going to spray all those doors. And then once that was dry, I added 3 coats of Dixie Belle Gator Hide that's going to give it a nice protective finish. And one complaint I got about the console was that the feet were really country for the modern style I was going for, and now that I'm going to be caning these doors, I think they're going to not fit in even more, so I'm going to be changing those out. I bought some more modern looking ones on Amazon, and the nice thing is that they were already finished and they really closely match the top of the piece. Now that my doors are dry, I'm going to add my cane webbing. I have been waiting for this. This was back ordered. It's really hard to find cane right now, so I've been waiting a month and a half for this to get in. But in order to prep this to put on my doors, you actually want to soak it in water for 15 minutes. That way it's going to be really stretchy, and then as it shrinks down and dries, it's going to be really tight and taut on your piece. We have a staple gun attachment for our air compressor, so I'm going to be using that today, but a regular staple gun without a fancy air compressor attached to it works just as well. Once I got the webbing lined up where I wanted it, I had my husband help me hold it really taut while I stapled it. My cane came in packages that were pre-cut in these little squares, so I just trimmed off the excess after I got it all stapled in. I repeated this process on all 3 of the doors and then reattached all the hardware and attached the doors back onto the console. Now that my piece is all done, I'm going to make some custom artwork to stage this piece with. I'm going to be cutting some vinyl on this Cricut Joy and placing it on some canvases I got from the dollar store. This is their smallest machine, very portable, very small, and it works with these smart materials that actually you don't have to have a cutting mat for because it's already attached to the piece. So it's buying less stuff to carry around. I'm going to start my project by opening Cricut Design Space on my phone. This is Bluetooth enabled and super easy to use. I just searched artwork and I selected this project that is free with the Design Space subscription. I deleted the ones that I didn't want and then sized my other pictures accordingly so that they were going to fit on my smart vinyl. Once I have everything set up, I'm just gonna hit next and it will let me select my material that I'm using. I'm using a smart material, so I don't have to put it on a mat. It's gonna show me how everything is lined up so I can make sure that I'm cutting in the right area. I'm gonna select my machine and then hit go. Then I'm going to select the specific material I'm using. I'm using a permanent vinyl, and I'm going to just insert this, and the machine is going to check to make sure I have enough material to do the cuts that I want to do. What's awesome about this machine is you can do up to 20 feet, so I could see myself making custom transfers for furniture or even decals for hardware. Once the machine confirms I have enough material, I'm just going to hit go, and it's going to start cutting. I'm really excited about being able to make custom artwork to stage my pieces so I can have different artwork each time and it's not going to be super expensive. And the thing I hate about getting artwork is a lot of time it has glass on top of it, and when you're taking photos it reflects really bad in pictures, it reflects really bad on video. So I love the idea of being able to have something matte without glass over it, and I can customize it to match my piece. This is what your screen will look like when it's cutting, and once it's finished, it'll give you an option to unload your vinyl and the machine will spit it out. Now that my decals are cut, I'm going to work on getting them on my canvases. I bought these at the dollar store. They're 8x10 canvases and they were $1 each. I'm going to separate each decal to work with them separately. And I'm going to start by weeding off the excess of the decal that I don't need. And I have a little weeding tool to help me get into any little areas that might be sticking. Once I'm done weeding off that excess, I'm going to grab my transfer tape and cut that down to size, and then peel the backing off and place that on top of my decal. Once I have my transfer tape in place, I'm going to use the scraper to adhere the decal to that to get ready to transfer. I'm just going to peel off the backing of my decal so that the sticky side is all ready to go and stick onto my canvas. I'm going to put that in place, and then I'm going to use my scraper again to get the decal off my transfer tape. Once I had it on there good, I just pulled back my transfer tape, and if any of the decal was not sticking, I just went back in and would use the scraper to make it stick to the canvas. Like I mentioned, I have just started playing around with this Cricut and I'm obsessed. It's so easy. I've made decals for my daughter's water bottle. I've made some pretty distressed decals to go on my water bottle and my computer. You can even make t-shirts and mugs, so I'm excited to keep creating with this thing. So my first canvas is complete and I'm really loving the way it's looking, so I'm going to go ahead and do my other one. Once they were finished, I just grabbed some inexpensive frames I had from Amazon, made sure I took the glass out, and then put the backing on so I could hang these on the wall. And like I mentioned, one great feature about this Joy is that it's so small and compact. It's really easy to carry around the house and store in a cubby when you're all done with it. Okay, who is ready for the big reveal? This is the first piece that I started off with, and then here is what it looked like after its first makeover, and here it is now with new feet and the newly cane doors. I'm so excited I finally got to try out the cane craze. I actually did not add knobs to these doors because of how deep this frame is. They're really easy to open. Not being able to put the knob on the same spot on each door bothers me, the symmetry of it, so I like them without knobs. I must admit I'm really digging these modern feet on this piece. And I love the custom artwork that I created using the Cricut. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do more in the future. So the plan is now I'm going to create 2 separate listings on Marketplace independent of each other and see which one sells first. And then I will give you an update on my next Q&A video. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments, number 1 or number 2. Thanks for joining me for today's video. Check out some of my other videos before you leave. I will be back next week with another project. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.